This movie begins in a helicopter. A TV crew are on their way to Hatts Creek. It's a small town in rural Montana. James is a very unhappy reporter. He can't understand why he is here. James is a well-known war correspondent. Now he is being sent to an isolated town. They sent him to report on some missing kid. He tells the cameraman about his discontentment. Last year at this time, we were in Israel covering politics. We were doing worldwide coverage. James Carnell was a household name. The cameraman responds, "You shouldn't have banged the consulate's wife." Then James is in front of the town sign. He is still complaining about this assignment. The cameraman is trying hard to make him focus. James keeps reflecting on when they were in Iraq, when they were reporting real news. The cameraman tells him to focus on this assignment. If you can't do that, then we should find another job. Finally, James gets into it and does his job. But when he's finished, he gives the finger to the assignment. Then they move on to Main Street. James wants to get an opinion from the man on the street. He stops a man walking by. The man tells him he's seen him on TV. James tells him we're here to cover a story. It's about the missing boy and cattle. The man tells him that he has lost 3 steers. James asked him if he has any theories about it. The man replies, "Yes, it's the aliens." James responds, "You mean flying saucer aliens?" The man gets angry and says, "Are you making fun of me?" He calls James an idiot and walks away. James responds, and there you have it, the man on the street. Then James tries talking to a family on the street. The woman tells him she's heard stories about strange things happening. She went on and on about wild wolves. James is getting very bored. They cut the interview short. Next, we see James with Mike, the town's sheriff. He asks the sheriff if you have any leads. The sheriff replies, "No, we don't have any yet." He tells James they'll get to the bottom of this. "We'll leave no stone unturned." Then an out-of-control pickup zooms by them. It crashes across the street. The sheriff shouts for somebody to call an ambulance. They run to the crash site. They open the door to the truck. The driver is covered in blood. His arm has been torn off. The sheriff tells the cameraman to turn it off. In the driver's dying breath, he tells the sheriff what happened. He tells him that it has my boy. Then a local blames the sheriff for his death. He tells him that he's incompetent. Then a woman joins in. She also tells the sheriff that it's his fault. She tells the sheriff that a silver-tipped grizzly is to blame. Everyone knows it and you should be out hunting it. The sheriff tells them he's doing the best he can. James tells the sheriff, "We're here to help you." He tells James to stop filming and storms off in anger. The cameraman filmed the locals from his hotel room. They are preparing to go hunting for the silver tip. The deputy tries to stop them without any luck. James reports that the locals are going into the forest. They will be searching for the missing boy and the grizzly. The sheriff is organizing the hunting party. Then the missing boy's mother arrives. She announces a $10,000 reward for her son. Anyone who brings him back alive will get $10,000. Then some loco asked what's the reward if he ain't alive. He is scorned by the crowd. As the hunters leave town, James covers the event. Now we are at the search party's staging area. James is filming the event. A deputy approaches him. He asks James, "What the hell are you doing?" James replies, "Our job. Do you have a problem with that?" The deputy tells James they can't come with them. James tells the deputy they were war correspondents. The deputy doesn't care and tells them to leave. But then the sheriff walks over. He tells the deputy to let them come along. The deputy is not very happy about it. The sheriff tells him it will be national exposure. People will see how a small town comes together in a crisis. The sheriff gives James a radio. He tells them to keep up and follow orders. The hunting dogs are ready for action. The hunters head into the unknown. They all believe this will be a piece of cake. All of them against one grizzly bear. No one would believe the horror that awaits them. The lead tracker tells everyone this is going to be easy. He spots some bear tracks leading into the woods. James is on the same trail where 2 local hunters disappeared. Only blood-stained grass and police tape remain. They all move forward with caution. A gunshot is heard up ahead of them. Everyone starts running into the woods. As they approach an opening, they hear something. It's a loud howling like they've never heard before. They all stop momentarily asking what the hell was that. Then they all continue charging in the direction of the shot. They stop in an open area. They release the dogs into the trees. They stand by with their guns aimed at the trees. Then suddenly one of the dogs runs right by them. They tried to stop it, but the dog is running for his life. Then they see a tree violently shaking. One of their dogs comes flying through the air. They walk over to look at its mangled body. The entire team charges into the tree line. They find the hat of one of their team. She was one of their best hunters. Finally, they find what's left of her body. She had been torn to pieces. One of her best friends rubs her blood on his face. He vows to kill whatever killed her. The hunters continue their search for the grizzly. Then some of the hunters shout, "Over here." The monster is stalking them all the way. They found a dead 1,500-pound silver-tip grizzly. The carcass has been there for several days. They start trying to figure out what killed it. One hunter suggests another grizzly did it. Others say they've never seen another grizzly do that. Then the sheriff gets a call on his radio. It's Wilma, a very experienced hunter. She is in distress and calling for help. The sheriff asked, "Where are you, Wilma?" Then everyone hears a loud, horrifying scream. They all start running in that direction. The cameraman joins the hunter who rubbed blood on his face. They hear a blood-curdling howling. It's coming from the other side of the clearing. They finally see the creature across the way. Before he can fire his gun, it disappears into the bush. They react with fear, asking what the hell was that. He turns around and the beast attacks him. The cameraman grabs the gun and fires at it. The beast disappears again. The other hunters run over after hearing the shot. James approaches the camera being held by the cameraman. He aims the camera at him. They try to get him to tell them what happened. The cameraman is petrified. Then the sheriff sees the body. One of the legs have been torn off. The cameraman finally snaps out of it. The sheriff asked him if the grizzly killed the hunter. He responds, "I know what a bear looks like. Believe me, that was not a bear." James sets up the camera himself. His cameraman is still in shock. James starts reporting on the events taking place. Survivors can be seen behind him stacking the dead bodies. He reports how they came here searching for a missing child, but all they have found is death. Then we see the cameraman back to normal again. He is walking and talking as James follows him. He is making his last film. He tells anyone who finds this camera about how he died. He smiles and says maybe he'll be famous in the next life. Then he says goodbye everyone and don't forget me. The remaining survivors can hear the chopper. They are in the thick of the forest. The chopper pilot is unable to see them. They come upon numerous dead bodies. The sheriff finds a radio next to one of the bodies. He calls Montana Rescue 1. They reply, "We read you, what is your location?" The chopper pilot tells them they've been looking for them. The sheriff replies that everyone is dead except the three of us. The chopper pilot responds, "Is this some kind of joke?" The sheriff tells him, "No, this is not a joke. They were all killed by some kind of monster. We require immediate evacuation, do you copy?" The pilot replies, "Roger that. What is your location?" But the sheriff doesn't know where they are. James has a flare gun and he fires it. The pilot sees it and tells them where to go for extraction. They start making their way to the pickup point. James and the cameraman get disorientated. They stop and try to figure out which way to go. They don't know where the sheriff is. They both wish they'd never got this assignment. They can hear the chopper and they run towards the sound. They make it to a river. Now they're out in the open. James says, "Let's go downstream." The cameraman says, "Now they can see us." The chopper flies over them. It sees them and they follow it to a landing site. They run through the woods to find the chopper. They finally reach the landing site. On his way to the chopper, he films a headless body. James stands next to the chopper looking for the pilot. Suddenly, a creature grabs him and carries him away. Then the cameraman films the beast watching him. The next thing that happens is very scary. The monster grabs and kills the cameraman. The camera lands a short distance away from his body. It is still filming. Then we see the unexpected. The missing boy that they were searching for appears. He sees the camera and grabs it, looking into the lens. Then the monster grabs and kills him. The final scene shows the body of the cameraman. So the entire search team and the chopper rescue team were killed, plus the missing child. If you enjoyed watching this short version of Embedded, please click the subscribe and like buttons. And thanks for watching.